Power leveling inside of Destiny 2 has gone through so many different changes. If you were to look through the history of Destiny and go all the way back to Destiny Vanilla, like Destiny 1 Vanilla when it was called Light Level, and compare it to Destiny 2 now, you'd be like, wow, those some very, very different changes. Problem is even though that these changes would be considered good, they still haven't hit that sweet spot where everyone could agree and be like, yes, I like this. I mean, recently, with the new season, it just shows that power leveling, the way that it is right now, is not something that everybody agrees is fun or enjoyable or whatever. Because a lot of people were AFK farming the forges. Didn't see that coming again. That thing has always come back somehow, whether it be an event or a DLC or whatever. Either way, people were going inside of the forges and just AFK. And getting tons of Umbral engrams that would help them level up because there was a quote-unquote glitch where you could get powerful drops out of the armor when you focused it. Now, a lot of people were pretty upset that people were doing this because they thought to themselves, well, that's going to ruin the grind, and that's just ridiculous. But instead of looking at what they're doing, why not think about the why they're doing it? Hey, remember Destiny 1 Vanilla? Back in the day, standing in the Cosmodrome, shooting at one direction into a cave. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous. But why did we do it? Destiny 1 players, I'm pretty sure you already know, but anyone that didn't know that is listening to this video, the reason why people did this, where they constantly shot at one cave, killing enemies coming out of it infinitely for hours, just to make engrams drop on the floor, was because at the time, when you went to Raoul to decrypt an engram, especially a legendary engram, you had a 70% chance of it being a blue. Yeah, it was terrible. The way loot grinding was inside of Destiny 1 Vanilla was very, very bad. And it was tedious. It was not enjoyable. So people did the loot cave strat to bypass that so then they can focus on the fun of the game instead. That's what people were doing with the AFK farming in the forges. People wanted to play the new content. They wanted to go do that new dungeon that's super amazing and worthwhile. But they had to go through a long grind. The soft cap was ended at 1,000 light. The new dungeon is recommended at 1040. The final encounter is a 1060, I believe. And the power cap goes up to 1050, and the pinnacle is obviously 1060. The grind, which is kind of ironic that people are upset that people are AFK farming old content, the people are upset that they're not doing the real grind, when most of the real grind is doing old content. You're doing the old dungeon. You're doing moon missions. You're doing nightmare hunts. You're doing flashpoints and patrol. Instead of doing the new Contact public event, you have to do many, many different things. And some of these things are things that you don't really want to do. I'm looking at you, Gambit. Yes, I understand. Gambit is a mess, and a lot of people don't want to play it. So, when you have the efficient grind basically be do everything, and one of those things being Gambit, I can understand why people are turned off by this. But at the same time, you know, they're not going to just move around how you get the powerfuls away from Gambit, because some people do actually like to play Gambit and would like to get powerfuls or pinnacles from those modes. But here's the thing. When it comes to Destiny, I think the power leveling needs a change. Because I realized this when I was just trying to communicate with a friend of mine who is not completely new to Destiny, has grinded before. When I was trying to explain the efficient ways of grinding through Destiny, it still just sounded, well, not so pleasing. It sounded like a chore. And I know that a lot of you are probably going to be like, well, this is supposed to be an MMO, and it's supposed to be grindy. Holy crap, how come nobody can understand this? Okay, listen, alright? Destiny, quote-unquote, is like an MMO. Luke Smith loves to throw that word around, and he loves World of Warcraft. But let's be realistic. Have you played World of Warcraft? Have you seen how big this game is? As in World of Warcraft. There's so many things to do to where the grind makes sense because, well, it's a big game. There's so many things to do. Destiny, it's a big game, but not as big as World of Warcraft for obvious reasons. They're different games. They have different animation styles, graphics, things that are... It's a first-person shooter compared to a... Yeah, you get the point. The point is, though, is when it comes to the grind, it is not favorable even to the most hardcore players. That even hardcore players are like, nah, I don't want to do Gambit. I will go to the AFK farm, please. And Bungie was very quick to fix this, and people were very upset because it felt like Bungie was like saying, no, you must do it this way. And I think that sucks. Destiny, I think the one thing that needs to be focused on is fun. But then also when it comes to the fun factor, to lead into some challenging things. They were getting on the right track with the Grandmasters, with the Nightfall. And of course, we still have the raids, and we have these dungeons. But here's the thing. When it comes to power leveling, why are we doing it? To play the new dungeon? That's it? Maybe do those Grandmasters when they come out? But there's a contest mode in the Grandmaster. You just have to get to a certain light level and then you're done. Power leveling just doesn't sound exciting anymore with Destiny. It feels like a very old style kind of feature that just doesn't really fit well because Destiny is getting more and more depth inside of its game where you're able to make builds. I mean, most of the people are wanting to mess with the mods on their armor and leveling up their armor and getting certain stats on their armor more than caring about a level next to their name. But at the same time, I think there should be some kind of power leveling in the game. So I had some thoughts. Why not make power leveling and pinnacle grinds more about what you want to play and it never ends? Instead of waiting till next week to do what you want to do, you do it now. But not make it too broken where you could just farm certain things to the point where you never have to do those things anymore. I'm looking at raids specifically. But a good example would be a player that likes maybe to just play casually by themselves, doing flashpoints and patrol, doing public events, trying to do those things. Well, I have an answer for that. Right now, if you're doing a power level grind, this is more aligns the power level grinds where those gold icons on the map show up. To do the flashpoint, I think you have to do around 5 public events and make them heroic and complete them. And then you get a powerful drop. Now, normally after you would do that, it would disappear. Well, how about instead, it resets? The power level grind resets. And you don't have to wait till the next day. You don't have to wait till next week. It just keeps going. But this is just for the power level grind. And you can do this wherever you want. The flashpoint is not strictly on one planet or moon. It's anywhere. If you want to go do public events on the moon, if you want to go do all that stuff somewhere else, and plus patrol beacons and doing lost sectors obviously count as well. Now, this goes for everything. Crucible, Gambit, Vanguard stuff, like the strikes, the nightfalls, going and do replayable whatevers, doing bounties. Whatever you want to do should benefit a power level grind. They could even make it so it brings you up 2 levels on an engram to 1, depending on the easiness or whatever of the thing it is. But you can just play at your pace, and not only that, do what you want to do. And then as soon as you get to 1050, for example, this season, and you're going into the 1060, you would think that, well, just do the raids and that's it. Maybe, then everything on the map changes. You still probably have the powerful drops, but now you also have pinnacles on top of it. Instead of doing 5 public events, maybe you have to do 15 to get a pinnacle drop as well. You still get that powerful drop at every 5 heroics, but now you have to do 15 if you want to get a pinnacle. Same thing with Gambit. Maybe to get a pinnacle, you have to do 6 matches, or maybe you have to do deposit a certain amount of motes, or get a certain amount of percentage of points. So whatever you're doing in the game, whether you're killing ads, depositing motes, taking out the invaders, it gives you points that will lead into a pinnacle. Crucible, same thing. Vanguard strikes, Nightfalls, everything starts to pile on. Yes, that seems like the grind would be a lot easier than what it is now. But I'm pretty sure Bungie can level out the numbers so then it's not super easy, where you get done and you're at 1060 light level within the first day. But do you get what I'm getting at? The level of our characters, the power level I mean, is just not fun. The artifact leveling is very casual, where it's just doing bounties, leveling it up with XP, and that's it. When it comes to the power level, that's a different story. I'm not saying that, like, if I were to go into depth, I'm not saying that you should be able to just rerun the raid over and over and over and get powerful drops all the time, because then at the same time, well, then there's no point of doing the raid anymore if you already got everything you want. But when it comes to random rolls and the raid weapons and stuff, it's really hard to get the god roll that you would like, when it used to be you do the raid, you finally get the drop that you want, and boom, you're done. Doesn't work like that anymore with the random rolls. And I plan on doing that in a separate video, talk about raids and stuff, but I'm just talking about leveling in general. And I know a lot of you are already going to be like, but then what's the point of the game? What do you mean? That's up to Bungie. I'm not saying that they have to make new content every season. Listen, let's be real. $10 ain't gonna get you a brand new raid every single season. It's not gonna do that. It's gonna give you something to do, but I wouldn't say to the extent where we're gonna get new planets and moons and stuff every single 3 months. But here's the thing. When it comes to the power level, contest mode is there for a reason for raids. So if we're afraid of people being over-leveled, which, by the way, if Bungie's so worried about this, they shouldn't, because I think almost every expansion, DLC, season, we've constantly seen a exploit that allows you to level up quicker. And some people have been able to get benefited by this and allow them to be way over-leveled to the point where they're way prepped for the new raid, and they didn't have to do too much compared to the other players. If the grind is just a grind, then, well, it'd be a lot better. And we wouldn't have to worry about, dang, I missed out on that exploit. But when it comes to contest mode, why does it matter? Especially for World's First. On the first week, you have contest mode, which basically means that if you're past a certain light level, you get no benefit. They do the same thing with the Grandmaster Nightfalls. Why not do that? Same thing with the new dungeon. Why not have contest mode activated for the first week, and then after that, no. And they can do the same thing with trials, where there's a contest mode that's turned on the first week, and then after that, no. Stuff like that, I feel like is a easy fix, but when it comes to a overtime fix, maybe start thinking about the Grandmaster difficulty that you're doing with the Nightfalls, and think about that with other things as well. Fun and challenging things to do, which I plan on probably talking about in different videos. But like I said, the power level grind is just too tedious. A lot of the people that I love playing games with are not going to want to play Destiny because, well, they just don't find the grind pleasing. And a lot of people just like to say, get good, just get over yourself. But that's not the right mindset. Hey, and this is coming from somebody that's already at the pinnacle grind, getting too close to 1060 on all 3 characters. I gotta agree with the other people, what they're saying about the power leveling. It's not fun. I'd be fine with redoing old content if it didn't feel like I had to. And that's kind of what I don't find interesting about this game, is the power leveling. Everything else, I'm fine with. It should be more about grinding for weapons and armor stats and testing out builds, more than getting a number on your armor up so then you can do said activities or feel like you got done through that. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I don't want to make this video too long about this conversation. Maybe I'll do a follow-up if I really need to. But I just wanted to give my feedback on this. I want to start doing this more often, just giving my thoughts about things inside of Destiny, because, like I said, I like to look at every different perspective, from casual to hardcore to average players to new players to players that are already playing the game, who've been playing the game for a long time, returning players from Destiny 1, and starting to go, maybe if we did it like this, it would be better. And Bungie's been doing pretty good on the changes with the power leveling. Originally, it was really, really bad, and it got a lot better. But yes, I do believe that we need to change how we power level. Heck, if they're so afraid, for example, with the raids, of people just farming encounters to try and get a certain weapon to drop, if they go back to like static rolls or not too many random rolls and stuff, which I plan on talking about in a separate video, they could have it where you replay the raid, but instead of getting the new armor, the new weapons, instead you get random weapons, you get random armor, and it's helping you power level though. You get what I'm getting at? So either way, there's no excuses to a lot of things that they could do to make the power level your choice of where you want to go. I think the game would feel more open and exciting if I just felt like I wasn't being pointed at a certain direction to go do said thing. And more lines of, well, whatever I can or can't do or don't want to do is my choice. So, I don't know. I'm talking more lines of the power leveling. I'm not saying that Bungie should just hand out raid weapons and stuff. You got to do those activities. And that's how this game needs to be. Do the activities. Do the challenging activities to be the most rewarded. A number next to your name doesn't really feel like a reward. It doesn't anymore. It just feels like it's just to do something to get ready to get through the next new stuff. That's all. So I still think we should still have our light level, power level go up. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below about this whole conversation. Do you agree, disagree, and why? And if you think that these are some good ideas, maybe share this somewhere, retweet it, whatever, on Twitter, something. But either way, thank you so much for listening as usual. Have a chibi-tastic day, evening, night, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next Chibi video.